Dia de los Muertos is such a rich holiday filled with color, culture, and history, and I love the sugar skull makeup. But I understand that for many reasons, painting a full face of makeup isn't always an option for everyone. So I thought that this year would be fun to make a sugar skull inspired mask. I've taken some of the traditional details from the face paint and added them to the mask. Feel free to mix up whatever colors you like for the flowers and ribbons on the sides. This mask could also be used as a decoration instead of a wreath or other wall decoration. Keep watching for the full tutorial. And please be sure to hit the subscribe button and like this video. Thanks! The first thing you want to do is draw out your eye area. This is going to be the first part that you're going to paint black. Then take your acrylic paint and just fill in that whole area with black. And don't forget to paint in the area on just the edge around the inside of the eye, because it'll be noticeable if you leave it white. So make sure you get into all the areas there. As you're working, keep checking both sides to make sure that they're symmetrical. With such a graphic design like this, you're going to really want to make sure that you get both eyes, both sides of your mask as even and symmetrical as possible. I found that the black paint, or actually I found the acrylic paint dried very quickly when I was doing this. My mask is like a paper mask. It's kind of like a heavyweight paper and not a plastic. So I found that I was really happy because the paint dried very quickly. Once you get your eyes done, you'll want to draw in your nose. How you shape your nose is really up to you. I wanted to have mine look a little bit more like a skull, so I made the split as in a regular skull. I mean, it's not anatomically correct, but made that little skull. And then once you have it drawn in, you can just paint it in, fill it in black. And again, make sure you paint all along the edge of your mask. Because it'll really show that white edge if you don't get that side in as well. Just makes it look a little bit cleaner, a little neater. After you're done with your nose, depending on the size of your mask, you can fill in between the eyes, anything up that will go up onto the forehead. If you have any space for your cheeks, anything like that. My mask isn't very big, so I just had a little bit of room between the eyes to make sort of a little floral motif. And as you can see, I just started working with one color of paint at a time. It's up to you how you want to do it. I just did all my blacks first, and then you'll see I'll go in with color later. One of the designs that is so pretty with sugar skull makeup are the flowers around the eyes. So here I went in and drew in petals all the way around the black shape that I filled in around the eyes. So you can just draw this in lightly with pencil. I found that my paint covered up the pencil marks. You could also go in carefully if your pencil marks were still showing at the end, and just use like a kneaded eraser or something to just remove them, but I didn't have that problem. Then once you get them all in, just start painting. Fill it in with beautiful color. once you get all your one color done, as you can see, then I moved on to another color, adding little yellow dots in the center of all my flower petals. Once your mask is all painted, you can start working on your flowers. I cut all of the little buds or the flowers off of their stems. You want to be kind of careful. The ones that I had, they had a wire in it, so I had to just sort of score it with my scissors. I think I ended up getting wire cutters and chopping them off. It was a little bit faster and better on my scissors. After all of your flowers are cut off their stems, you can lay them out and decide your pattern, how you want to arrange them by color. I tried to mix them up and make them as random as possible, but not keep too many of the same colors next to each other if I could avoid it, and just try to keep the colors balanced. Once you know your color scheme, how you're going to organize your flowers, you can start hot gluing them to the top of your mask. This was kind of a weird thing to do because you've got these little stems poking out into the back and you've got a very thin area to work on. There's a couple ways you can handle this. So I just literally glued them right along the edge and then glued additional flowers on top of them, as you'll see. You could also build up your mask with another piece of cardboard or something like that. You can also go in at the end and, which I did, I go in and trim the backs of any of the little flower stems. If you have wires sticking out, you can also add a little bit of hot glue to cover that up. You can also put a piece of felt or another piece of cardboard up along the back so they don't dig into your forehead, because, you know, that just wouldn't be very pleasant. your flowers are on, you'll want to start, you'll cut your tulle. So I cut my tulle, it's probably about 18 inches long. I didn't really measure it. I more or less eyeballed it, just what I thought looked good. But I used 2 layers of tulle and then just used a running stitch with my needle and thread to gather it. It was just super quick. If you have your sewing machine out, you could do it that way. That would probably be even faster, but this worked really quick for my purposes right now. Once you're done and your tulle's gathered and it's the length that you want it to fit along the edge of your mask, just tack off the edge of it so that it doesn't come undone. To make sure that I got it in evenly across the bottom of my mask, I folded my gathers in half to find the halfway point and then started in the middle. Put a little drop of glue on the inside of your mask and glue your fabric, the middle of your gathers right into the center of your mask. That way you know that you have an even amount on either side, and it will be, that way it just looks nicer. It's evenly across the bottom of your mask. Now it's time for some ribbons. So I had some velvet ribbon and I cut it, I cut a length of it so that folded it would hang just a couple inches, maybe about 3 to 4 inches longer than my veil. So this is just one long piece folded in half. Once you get that to the length that you want, cut your ribbon and then cut 3 identical lengths. When I did this, it pretty much used up a whole brand new spool of ribbon. After you get your 3 lengths of ribbon, you're going to take one of those lengths and cut it in half. This way, you'll have, for each side of your mask, you'll have one long piece that's folded in half and one shorter piece that's the same length as the folded in half one on top of it. So essentially, you're just going to make it look like there's 3 ribbons on either side. So if you were going to use 3 different colors of ribbon, you would just have 3 pieces of ribbon and then glue them together before you attach them to your mask. It just kind of makes it a little bit easier so you have everything looking exactly the way you want, and then you can just attach it onto your mask and use a hot glue for that. once all the ribbons and everything's added to your mask, you can add the elastic strap on the back, or if you're feeling super creative, you can add your own ribbons if you want to tie it on. But I prefer the ease of the elastic. So I just pushed it through with the little end going through the front, and then glued the little piece of elastic underneath my ribbons on the front side of my mask. You can see how I'm doing this here. That way the glue holds the elastic secure, so it's not going to pull out. And then by gluing the a little bit of the ribbon down on top, it covers up the elastic on the front of your mask so you don't see it.